All right, so moving on to the next segment, we're going to pivot here to the world of wrestling. And I'll be sharing my WWE Saturday Night Main Event summary. So, Saturday Night Main Event returned back to the WWE. It was a great event last night. I'll go over the entire card for you guys. But to kick off the night, you had Rhea Ripley successfully retain her women's world title against Nia Jax. Now, this was a good match between the two respective women. I like how the match started off with Lillian Garcia trying to introduce the woman for this highly anticipated world title match. Instead, the action kicked off with Nia Jax headbutting Rhea Ripley before the bell even rang, and that's how the action got started for this world title match between the two respective women. And obviously, if you follow the WWE, if you follow the product, both Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax are powerhouse women. They're pretty strong. So you've seen a lot of powerhouse moves that were displayed in that ring. The Samoan drop that Nia Jax hit on Rhea Ripley from the middle rope was a great spot in the match. But I will say, some were complaining online that we got this Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax feud. It was just something for Rhea Ripley to do after she won the women's world title a few weeks ago on the Raw Netflix episode, the debut to Raw on Netflix. But Rhea Ripley hitting the Riptide and retaining the women's world title against Nia Jax was the right call here on the road to WrestleMania. It seems like Rhea Ripley will be holding that women's world title heading into WrestleMania 41, even though we got some time and some months beforehand. I think she's going to retain the title, keep retaining the title until that time comes. Now, the next match you had Braun Breaker successfully retain his Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus. Now, this was the best match of the night between Braun Breaker and Sheamus. These two, every time they get in the ring with each other, it's an absolute banger in the words of the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. The game plan for the match was Braun Breaker to target the rib area of Sheamus, and he did that for the duration of the match. Now, there were some insane spots here, especially that mid-air spear that Braun Breaker hit on Sheamus, where Sheamus jumped off the steel steps and Braun Breaker caught him in mid-air and nearly broke a man that's nearly 300 pounds. That spear spot was insane. Sheamus throwing Braun Breaker over the barricade was also another good spot during this match. But in the end, Braun Breaker retaining the Intercontinental Championship was the right call here. Now, WWE's got a story they got to capitalize on here, because I heard the commentators talk about Sheamus has failed to win the Intercontinental title over 10 times. He's failed. He's had 10 opportunities and missed on all of them. That is the one title that has eluded Sheamus from being a Grand Slam champion. Now, a story that you could have for WrestleMania 41, you have Sheamus that is desperate to finish his own story. You could have a career versus title match, Sheamus versus Braun Breaker for the Intercontinental title, with Sheamus finishing his own story and becoming a Grand Slam champion, winning the Intercontinental title. Book it, Triple H. It's that easy. The story is right there for you. But hopefully we get that for WrestleMania 41. But next, you had the WWE contract signing between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens for their ladder match for the undisputed WWE titles. Now, this contract signing was done perfectly. It didn't overstay its welcome. You had great use of the legend, a Hall of Famer, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, being a part of the event, being the person who was facilitating the contract signing, with him being in his hometown of San Antonio, Texas. Kevin Owens played well in the heel role, taking shots at Cody Rhodes and Shawn Michaels and how they left the WWE at one point in their respective wrestling careers when things got tough. But I like the fact that Shawn Michaels hit the Sweet Chin music on Kevin Owens. It made me think, Shawn Michaels still got it. We don't need to see him in the ring, but he looked good hitting the Sweet Chin music on Kevin Owens. So the segment was pretty good for a contract signing. Excuse me. Now, the next match, you had Braun Breaker defeat Jacob Fatu by disqualification. Now, this was a good matchup between the two big men, the monster Braun Strowman and the Samoan werewolf Jacob Fatu. Now, the big men were beating the hell out of each other, pillar to post. And that's when you expect when two monsters, two Goliaths, get in the wrestling ring with each other. And the two big men did their thing for how long the match ended, or how long the match lasted. And this is not the last that we've seen between Braun Strowman and Jacob Fatu. That feud will probably continue over on the Blue Brand for Friday Night SmackDown. Now, even though Jacob Fatu lost the match by disqualification to Braun Breaker, yes, he could have needed a victory here. He's going to get his lick back, and the feud's not over. But the fact that he looked so diabolical with the match ending in disqualification. He beat the hell out of Braun Strowman, making him bleed, and hit several moonsaults on Braun Strowman after referees, officials, and the SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis could not control him. Jacob Fatu hit 3 to 4 moonsaults on Braun Strowman, leaving him a complete disaster, a mess, as Jacob Fatu looked like a badass. And he is going to have one hell of a 2025. Mark my words, WWE is not going to fumble Jacob Fatu in the calendar year 2025. Expect a great year from the Samoan Werewolf and Jacob Fatu. And then in the main event, you had Gunther defeat Jey Uso to successfully retain his World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this was a great main event between Gunther and Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship to close out Saturday night's main event. The only thing that I would say was the commercial breaks, the 2 commercial breaks that we got during this main event match, which kind of slowed the pace down for viewers that had to watch at home. But other than that, Jey Uso did a good job selling the damage that the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther was putting on him during this match. And I'm not going to lie, when I was watching the match, Jey Uso hitting the 2 spears and then hitting the Superfly Splash, I thought in that split second when the 3 count was about to be done, that Jey Uso was actually going to pull out the victory and become the new World Heavyweight Champion. But Gunther kicked out at 2.5, 2 3/4, which set up for Gunther to hit 2 back-to-back power bombs to finish off Jey Uso to successfully retain the World Heavyweight Championship against Jey Uso. One hell of a main event, and it was the right call for Gunther to retain the World Heavyweight Championship, as it looks like he will march into WrestleMania 41 in Vegas with that coveted World Heavyweight Championship. But to close out this segment, overall letter grade for Saturday night's main event, I'll give it an A-. This was a really good Saturday night's main event, and I think this Saturday night main event was better than the event that WWE had in December a month ago. Not saying that event was bad, but this one was just so much better. The pace of the night was really good. The flow of the night was really good. There was action all night long with 3 championship matches that were pretty good, with a contract signing and a good use of the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels hitting the Sweet Chin Music spot on Kevin Owens during the contract signing. The beatdown that Jacob Fatu gave Braun Strowman absolutely made him look like a badass. The World Heavyweight Championship match between Gunther and Jey Uso was very spectacular. The match of the night for the Intercontinental Championship between Braun Breaker and Sheamus lived up to the hype and its own expectations. And I would have to say this deserves an A-. Really good event by the WWE for Saturday night's main event. And hopefully we get to see another one down the line very soon, because the WWE is getting pretty good at using Saturday night's main event and making it feel special like it did back in the heydays of the WWE. But that is my WWE Saturday night main event summary.